Alright, so we're going to make some homemade cranberry sauce. Very easy, very simple to make. Get yourself a saucepan. You need a half a cup of water. A half a cup of orange juice. You can use first squeeze or you can use the stuff you get at the store. A pinch of salt. And 3/4 cups of sugar. We're going to go ahead and mix this up. Get it all well incorporated together. Okay, so we got our orange juice, water, sugar, mixture, and salt in our saucepan. We're going to add it to the fire and just let it come up to a slow simmer for the orange juice, sugar, and water to incorporate all together. Alright? Usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get that to happen. So that's been incorporated. So again, it's half a cup of water, half a cup of orange juice, 3/4 cups of sugar, and a pinch of salt. On a medium heat, get it all mixed together and incorporated. You're going to go ahead and grab your cranberries, fresh cranberries. You're using about 1.5 cups, and just pour them in here. Alright. Next, you're going to grab some cinnamon sticks. Store about 2 cinnamon sticks. And just drop them in. Next, you're going to grab some orange peels. You can use a knife to peel your orange. You can use a potato peeler, whatever you're comfortable with, to get just to peel off the orange. Alright, go ahead and drop the peel in. If you can get it in one strand, that's great. If not, a couple of strands, not a problem. Right. So you got all that in your cranberry sauce, in your cranberry mixture. Sorry, it's not a sauce yet. We're going to go ahead and leave this on a medium heat and bring it up to a simmer. Alright, so if you take a look, I brought it up to a simmer. Now I'm going to keep stirring this quite frequently actually. And the goal is to cook it usually about 10 minutes until all your cranberries pop. Personally, I like to leave some cranberries whole so you have that different texture when you're eating your sauce. And just let it cook. It's usually about 10 minutes and you can see the cranberries are starting to pop if you take a look. And we're just going to let it cook, stirring it quite frequently actually until we get to that consistency we're looking for. Alright, so this has been on here for about almost 10 minutes now. If you take a look, you got a nice sauce consistency going with your cranberries. Alright, so what we're going to do is take this off the fire and let it sit for about 30 minutes to cool off. I'm going to put it in a bowl and stick it in the fridge after that. Alright, but that's your cranberry sauce. Alright, so we're going to make some cream cheese corn next to go with our turkey, cranberry sauce, and mashed potato dinner we're having today. So to make the cream cheese corn, you're going to need some sweet corn. The brand is up to you. I like going to Aldi, and I got these from Aldi's. You're going to need some cream cheese, 4 tablespoons of butter, half a tablespoon of salt, a cup of shredded cheese, your choice. You can use sharp cheddar, you can use Mexican mix, it's up to you. Some black pepper and some milk. Alright, so I got 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my pan. I've got 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my pan. Now we're going to go ahead and mix these two until they're melted and well incorporated together. Okay, so we got our cheese melted down with our butter. So I went ahead and took my mixture out of my frying pan. If you're using a saucepan, you don't have to do this step, but I took it out of my frying pan, put it in the bowl, and whipped the butter and cream cheese together just to get it really smooth. Alright, next step is I'm going to take my 3/4 cups of milk and add it to my mixture. and do the same thing. I'm just going to keep whipping to get a smooth, creamy mixture. Alright, so we got a nice, smooth, creamy cheese, butter, and milk mixture in our pan. We're going to go ahead and add our salt and a pinch of black pepper. Now with this recipe you have the option of adding jalapenos if you choose to. I didn't in this case. I'm just going to make it without the jalapenos. But that is an option if you do choose to. Now we're going to go ahead and add our corn. So I've got about 14 ounces of corn. Apologies, 16 ounces of corn, not 14, 16. I'm just going to go ahead and mix it in. Now the entire time my stove is on a really low heat. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn my stove off and just get my mixture nice and mixed and all my ingredients incorporated and smooth. Alright, so you got a nice creamy sweet corn, cream cheese, butter, and milk mixture with your salt and pepper that you mix all in your pan. You're going to go ahead and transfer it to a baking pan. Alright, just go ahead and even it up in your pan. Now this is where the fun comes in. I know I said at the beginning you're going to be using about a cup of shredded cheese, but honestly it is up to you. I love cheese, so I'm probably going to use more than a cup of shredded cheese, but if you're not a cheese person or you don't want to use as much cheese, by all means a cup will do just fine. And all you're going to do is grab that cheese and sprinkle it on top. So I've turned my oven on at 375. I'm going to grab my mixture and throw it in my oven between 15 to 20 minutes. The corn is cooked. I mean, it's frozen, but the corn is already cooked. Our mixture is well cooked already. So we're pretty much looking to melt the cheese and just get the corn warm all the way through. So 15-20 minutes usually does the trick. Alright, so our next side is going to be mashed potatoes. Alright, we're going to make some homemade mashed potatoes, not the stuff in the powder that you get from the store. Alright, so we're going to start. All I did was peel some potatoes and wash them. I'm just going to go on the larger ones. I'm going to cut them in 4s. Alright, so I got my potatoes cut up in the pot. I'm just going to add enough water to cover up my potatoes. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to stick this on the stove and let it cook. Alright, so making my mashed potatoes, boiled my potatoes, drained them. They're still hot. Added a stick of butter. I'm going to go ahead and start off by adding about a teaspoon of salt. Now remember, you're doing this and seasoning the taste as you go. Alright, about a teaspoon of garlic. And we don't use a 1/3 cup of heavy cream and all, but we're going to do it in half. So I'm going to add the first half in. And just go ahead and smash your potatoes. So the beauty of homemade mashed potatoes is you get a little bit of the chunks of potato in there, so it's not completely smooth and completely creamy, almost like baby food. You have some texture with it. So I do not smash my potatoes all the way continuously. I just smash them once, get them to about this consistency where you got a little bit of chunks in there, but it's still good. And I just use a spoon to mix. And we're going to go ahead and try this. Alright, we're going to add a little bit more salt. I'm going to add the rest of our heavy cream. And like I said, the salt is up to you, however much salt you want and what flavor you're looking for. But there you go, homemade mashed potatoes. Alright, so our next thing we're going to make is stuffing. You can't have turkey without stuffing. I'm not going to make it from scratch. I know some of you would say why not, just time and planning. I'm going to go ahead and use our stovetop chicken stuffing. Now what I've done is added 1.5 cups of a mixture of homemade chicken broth and water into a saucepan. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to cut up some celery. Alright, and we're going to add our chopped up celery to this mixture. Now your stovetop directions are going to tell you to use water, and you can use water, that is perfectly okay. I just want that extra element of the chicken flavor in my stuffing, so I'm going to go ahead and use my chicken broth. Now the ratio of my mixture is 50 to 50, so it's 1.5 cups of fluid you need in all, so I did 3/4 cups of water and 3/4 cups of my homemade chicken broth. Alright, so I've got my chicken broth, my butter, and my mixture in a pot. I'm going to go ahead and stick it on the stove, get my butter melted, get all this up to a boil. So if we can see, my mixture is up to a boil, my butter is melted, I got my celery in there for that nice crunch. I'm going to go ahead and add my stuffing mix. And stir. Now we're going to go ahead and turn our heat off under the mixture. So we're going to stir this up. Get a cover for this. We're going to cover it up and set it aside. It's need to sit aside for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to that in a little bit. Alright, so generally when you make your turkey, at the bottom of your turkey pan you got those nice drippings. You can take your dripping to make a gravy. I fried my turkey, so I'm not fortunate to have that. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I got my giblets for my turkey. I got some onions. I'm going to put that in a pan with some oil. I'm going to add some salt. Garlic powder, and again, all of this is done to your taste. Some thyme, some black pepper, and I'm going to go ahead and brown all of this in my pan. Alright, so my mixture is pretty brown. I'm going to go ahead and add some fresh thyme leaves. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add 1/4 cup of butter, which is about 4 tablespoons, to this mixture. Alright, so that butter is melted. We're going to go ahead and add 1/4 cup of flour. Now with your flour, you got to make sure your flour cooks down. If not, your gravy is going to have that floury taste. So just add that flour, mix this up, and just keep your heat on medium and just let it cook, let the flour cook. So we added our flour to our mixture, we're letting our flour cook down. You're starting to get that dark brown color, which is exactly what you're looking for. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat down. So we got our giblets, our flour cooked, almost like a roux, nice and brown. We're gonna go ahead and add 2 cups of chicken broth. And begin to mix. And I'm going to go ahead and add about 1/4 cup of evaporated milk. So run it up to a boil, and if you can see, it's already thickening up, which is exactly what you want for your gravy. We don't want to get it too thick. We're going to take it off the fire and we're going to run it through a strainer to get bigger chunks out of it and get you a smooth, creamy gravy. Okay, I got it in I got a bowl, I got a strainer. I'm going to take my gravy and just go ahead and run it through my strainer. Alright, this is not an ultra fine strainer, but there you go. You have a nice creamy bowl of gravy to go with your mashed potatoes. Alright, so we're going to make some Jiffy corn muffin mix. I can't find my muffin pan, so I'm just going to make a loaf of cornbread. It happens. So it's 1/3 cup for each pack you're using, so I got 1/2 cup of milk. I got 2 Jiffy corn mixes and 2 eggs. Easy, simple to make. Grab your Jiffy corn mix. Tear it open, pour it in a pan. Go ahead and crack in your 2 eggs. And pour in your 1/2 cup of milk. Grab a mixing spoon and get to mixing. So that's your mixture. It's the kind of consistency you're looking for. Alright, with a little bit of muscle behind it. That's what I'm talking about right there. Now we're going to go ahead and set our oven at 400. Pour our mixture into a pan, stick it in the oven, and she's going to bake for about 20 minutes. The reason why is to just even it out in the pan. Wipe off your sides, and we'll stick this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes.
So I hope you try my recipe that James made, all this stuff, and tell me how it went, or put some pictures up for me to see. And make sure to subscribe, like, hit the notification button, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.